Hello YouTube, this is Thomas Judge back once again with another instalment of my Ultimate New 52 reading guide video series. To provide a bit of background, I've read the entire New 52, which was 3,646 single issues, and using that I created a really comprehensive reading map and infographic to talk viewers through exactly how the New 52 worked, how it was grouped, and my recommendations of what to read and how to read them. This video series has been the result of that, and today's video is our penultimate video. Today's video is video 13.1, which I've just called the out of continuity stuff. Normally I do say that even if you think you know what the New 52 is, you should go back and watch my introduction video, and I will put a link to that in the description below. But to be honest, for this video, you don't. So with no further ado, here is the Ultimate New 52 reading guide. And today's episode is video 13.1, the out of continuity stuff. Now, I'm not going to be diving into the map today. I'm not going to be showing through anything you can see here or anything you may have printed off or downloaded at home. What I'm going to do is a quick run through of around 18 separate series of comics that were released by DC during the New 52 era, which means from around about 2011 to around about 2016, but that were obviously totally out of continuity. And I don't mean out of continuity in an Earth 2 Futures End or Convergence way, which I discussed in video 7.1 and 7.2. or even in a goofy Batmite and Justice League 3000 way, which I discussed last video. I mean really out of continuity. They are not part of the New 52 universe in any way. However, I knew that people would want to know what they were and where they fit, so I thought I'd rattle through a list of them here. Just to point out as well, this is my personal opinion of what is and isn't in the New 52. I have read almost every single series I talk about here, and this is my own judgment on each of them. If you feel that they're part of the New 52 and they should have been included in that run through of the reading guide, that's entirely up to you. So with that out of the way, let's begin. Batman Europa was published in 2016 and was drawn by Jim Lee and had a lot of hype. However, this 4-issue miniseries had no New 52 branding and is a much more of a sort of weird art house standalone thing. It's worth a read for the amazing art alone, but it's not great. Bloodlines was originally a 1993 DC crossover event. It was rebooted for the end of the New 52 and relaunched as this 6-issue miniseries in 2016. Not bad, not great. National Comics was a reboot of a pre-DC series from 1949. The reboot of National Comics during this era focused upon more obscure characters such as Eternity, Madam X, Rose and Thorn, and Looker. Prez is a 6-issue miniseries that started in June 2015, written by Mark Russell and drawn by Ben Caldwell. It stars a teenage girl named Beth Ross, who was elected president via Twitter in the year 2036. It's a sort of reboot of lots of preceding characters in DC with the same theme or name. My Greatest Adventure was a DC Comics book that began in 1955 and is best known for introducing the superhero team Doom Patrol. It ended in 1964. A 6-issue revival of the series debuted in October 2011, written by Aaron Lopresti, Kevin Maguire and Matt Kint. It was an anthology featuring 3 different stories in each issue, and those 3 stories were about, respectively, Garbage Man, Tanga and Robot Man. Definitely not New 52 related and not especially good either. This is the Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, also stylized as DKIII, The Master Race, and later collected as Batman The Dark Knight, The Master Race 3. It's a 9-issue DC Comics limited series co-written by Frank Miller and Brian Azzarello and illustrated by Miller, Andy Kubert and Klaus Janson. Published from 2015 to 2017, this is set in its own Dark Knight universe and continuity, as a sequel to Miller's 1986 Batman miniseries The Dark Knight Returns, and the 2001 follow-up to that, which was a miniseries The Dark Knight Strikes Again. This is nothing to do with the New 52. And now, the Multiversity. What can I say about this that hasn't been said? In September 2012, as part of MorrisonCon, DC Entertainment officially confirmed the Multiversity, giving the series a publication date of late 2013. Morrison also confirmed that the Multiversity had not been affected by anything in the New 52, but would still feature a little sort of wave over to the DC universe, and that the New 52 fits really nicely into the scheme without doing any damage. So, the Multiversity is a limited series of interrelated one-shots set in the DC multiverse in the New 52 era. It's a collection of universes seen in publications by DC Comics. The one-shots in the series were written by Grant Morrison, each with a different artist. The Multiversity began in August 2014 and ran until April 2015. It's worth noting that in February 2013, Morrison stated that he had created a guidebook for DC's multiverse, incorporating all 52 alternate universes, which other authors referenced when working with the multiverse concept. The guidebook was included as the 6th instalment of the Multiversity and was published in January 2015. It contained maps and blueprints to the multiverse, as well as a brief description of the metahumans that populate 45 out of its 52 alternate Earths, with details about Earths 14, 24, 25, 27, 28, 46 and 49 omitted. Overall, the Multiversity has a huge fan following. In fact, I own it as a deluxe hardcover myself. However, having read it 4 times, I'm still not convinced I understand it or that I like it. And also, I found nothing in it to make me feel that it's part of the New 52. It's more of an index to the DC multiverse. I'd recommend reading it for yourself to make up your own mind, but remember, as I said, deluxe hardcover, this will not fit in with the rest of your New 52 hardcovers. Next is Penguin, Pain and Prejudice, which was published in 2012. This was a 5-issue comic book limited series written by Greg Hurwitz. It was pretty good. Similarly, Poison Ivy, Cycle of Life and Death, was published in 2016, and that was a 6-issue comic book miniseries written by Amy Chu, with art primarily by Clay Mann. It was collected in a single trade paperback and is Poison Ivy's first solo comic book series. I didn't like it. The HannaBarbera DC comics were also released during the New 52 era and even beyond into DC Rebirth and now. This comprises these 4 different lines: Scooby Apocalypse, Future Quest, Flintstones and Wacky Raceland. In addition, in 2017 they followed these 4 up with an adaptation of the Jetsons. Now, I've only read the Flintstones and Wacky Raceland so far, and I can say that they were very, very good. However, I very recently read Future Quest and that wasn't. All I can say for now is that these series are all definitely unrelated to anything in the New 52, and while some of them are great, some of them are not, so it's always worth reading and making up your own mind. The collaboration of Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles between DC Comics and IDW Publishing was announced at the 2015 San Diego Comic Con. A 6-part monthly miniseries was written by James Tynion IV and drawn by Freddie Williams II and released that December. It has since spawned 2 sequels, Batman TMNT 2 and Batman TMNT 3, which I have not read and were released way into the DC Rebirth era. However, the first series was really, really good, like surprisingly so, and I can say with confidence these are not part of the New 52. DC Comics Bombshells refers to a line of figurines released by DC Collectibles depicting DC Comics superheroines in a retro 1940s look based on designs by Aunt Lucia. Based on the increased interest in the property, a digital-first ongoing series written by Marguerite Bennett and various artists began in July 2015, with printed issues available subsequently. The series ran for 100 digital issues, which translated to 33 print issues. And then a second digital-first series called DC Bombshells United launched in August 2017, with a print release following again. Picking up from the end of the previous Bombshell series, the new series, Bombshells United, begins in 1943 with the Bombshells now back in America. The series was cancelled after 38 digital instalments, which was 19 print issues. As a whole, I really like the look of DC Comic Bombshells, and I have got a couple of the statues, but the comics themselves were, in my opinion at least, terrible. I'll tell you what wasn't terrible. It was Injustice Gods Among Us, which is an American comic book series that served as the prequel for the Injustice video game, which is excellent, by the way. The series was written by Tom Taylor and Brian Buccellato, and is generally pretty great, although the middle arcs around magic and Greek gods lost me a little bit. If you're watching my channel, you'll know I tend to tune out whenever supernatural stuff intersects with my comics. Anyway, this was released digitally from 2013 to 2016 and has since been released in multiple physical editions. A direct sequel series, Injustice 2, has been released from 2017, and whilst I haven't read all of that, I felt it wasn't as strong as the original Injustice. Night Force, which was released in 2012, is the third DC series with that name. It was a 7-issue miniseries. It was written by Marv Wolfman and stars Baron Winters, a sorcerer who would assemble a team of chosen individuals to fight supernatural threats. I read it, got bored by it, and view it as totally outside continuity and irrelevant. This is Thunder Agents. That's T.H.U.N.D.E.R, all separated by a dot, so it's a kind of acronym. Thunder Agents is a fictional team of superheroes that first appeared in 1965, and the acronym itself stands for the Higher United Nations Defense Enforcement Reserves. They were originally owned by Tower Comics, and the story of the publishing rights is quite the lengthy one that I'm going to skip here. In 2010, it was announced that a new series would begin publishing with writer Nick Spencer. That series lasted 10 issues, but then in late 2011, so just after the New 52 began, DC published a 6-issue miniseries as well. Then in 2012, the rights to Thunder Agents was transferred back to IDW Publishing. This has nothing to do with the New 52. This is Coming of the Supermen, which was released in 2016. It's a 6-issue miniseries written and drawn by Neil Adams. It was published at the end of the New 52 era, lacks the New 52 branding, and does not fit into continuity in any way whatsoever. It's also a tough story to get through, and much like the much maligned Batman Odyssey, it's one that I could not stand. Dr. Fate, released in 2015, in theory stars the Earth Zero incarnation of the character Dr. Fate, who is an Egyptian-American medical student named Khalid Nusur. Whilst it lasted 18 issues in total, all the way into the DC Rebirth era, it really seems to have nothing to do with anything else in the DC universe, so I personally consider it out of continuity. And finally, The Shade was a 12-issue series that was released between 2011 and 2012. It was apparently linked to the character Starman, but I could frankly remember nothing about it even though I read it. Not recommended. Personally, at least. And that's it for today. That's the end of the Out of Continuity Stuff subfamily. Next time we'll be on the very final video of this entire reading order series, where we will dive into the very last bit of the reading map that I haven't yet covered. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, please like, comment, subscribe and share more widely. As always, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts and comments. And as always, feel free to comment below or tweet me at IamThomasJudge. Remember, these videos are only possible thanks to supporting the channel by heading over to Amazon and picking up the first episode of my prose novel No Gods or Kings. You can see it on the screen here. And it's over 200 pages long, available for less than $1. In fact, if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's already totally free to download. It's a series of interviews from a future where superpowers are real, and the entire world has changed dramatically as a result. If you're interested in reading a free excerpt, that's available on the website, as is a free downloadable map and infographic of my reading guide. And that website is nogodsorkings.com, and that's in the description below. So whilst there, why not pick up the first book and support the channel? Until next time, stay classy.